By the end of 2019, rumors of a new virus originating in China started to spread across the country. This happened as a surge of protests in Hong Kong against a bill that was passed that resulted in the extraction of criminals to other jurisdictions. This caused its citizens to protest because it would encourage white collar as a crime in all of China. When the pandemic started to be noticed by the World Health Organization and became labeled as a global health emergency, China began to impose lockdowns, and there was also the first reported case of COVID 19 in the United States. There was little to know about the virus, and there was some misinformation spreading throughout the internet and even on news broadcasted in national television. With people ignoring the lockdowns, fleeing to other places, business people traveling from country to country, and the misinformation that was happening online, the widespread of the virus was inevitable. At the time, there was almost 40 million infected worldwide. 1 million of them are dead, and out of that, 1,220,000 are American. To put in perspective, almost one quarter of all COVID-19 related deaths are Americans. Even with all the warnings, all the restrictions, and all the available information of the virus, there are people that just do not care. Throughout human history, there have been many outbreaks. A good amount have been way deadlier than the pandemic we are facing today and have lasted way more than we are estimating this pandemic will last. A lot of recent diseases have been eradicated by vaccines, and the information is widely available to everyone that provides less than 5 minutes to research for credible sources like the World Health Organization and the Center of Disease Control. Yet, there is a lot of misinformation that is widespread on vaccines. From believing that vaccines cause autism to implanting microchips and even turning people gay is absurd. It has reached a point where parents refuse to vaccinate their own children and cause them to die or fall critically ill of a disease that could have easily been prevented with just one vaccine. People have started to take the issue of health seriously. People have to be educated on the importance of vaccines. Vaccines did not become a common commodity overnight, but it did become the reason why many diseases have been eradicated or are under control today. Let us start with smallpox. Smallpox is a very deadly disease with a death rate of up to 30%. This disease has been placed in time of ancient Egypt, meaning this disease has been around for close to 3,000 years. Close to the beginning of the 1800s, a series of experiments were conducted using cowpox. This is a disease that shares similar traits to smallpox, but has a significantly lower lethality and mild symptoms. This resulted in those who were infected with cowpox to deliver immunity to smallpox by straining their immune system with less aggressive version of the disease. And so the first vaccine was invented. Unfortunately, smallpox remained a feared disease up to the late 19th century. Yet fortunately, a global effort led by the World Health Organization led to the eradication of smallpox. Vaccines have stopped the spread of modern diseases, saving millions of lives, resulting in diseases to take at most a million casualties, and even less when taking the necessary precautions. Unfortunately, some diseases are hard to develop a vaccine for, such as HIV and AIDS. Yet there have been many advancements developed in recent years to combat this disease and save thousands of lives. Even with the development of several vaccines and the positive impact they have on civilization, they are still the problem of misinformation. This has become a widespread problem worldwide. This encourages people to actively deny the positive impact of vaccines, encourage others to not vaccinate their children, and spread over-the-top myths that have been debunked over and over again in order to get people to join the anti-vax movement. In the pandemic we are facing today, even if a vaccine is developed in the coming months, it will not take immediate effect due to several reasons. The most notable is the lack of participation people will have when the vaccine is widely available. In a research conducted by the New York Times, it showed that only half to three-fourths of those who participate will be open to taking the vaccine when available. This is a bad sign for the economy and its citizens when it comes to returning how everything was before the pandemic began. With the 50% to 75% of the population taking the vaccine, the COVID-19 pandemic will not be eradicated, but instead it will only be slow. When a, this is a problem when taking into consideration recent studies that have shown that people getting reinfected and antibodies of survivors only lasting 3 to 4 months. If we actually want this disease to be eradicated like smallpox, we need to have as many people participate in the vaccination. And if they can't, due to their immune system or pre-existing conditions, then encourage others to do so. This is not the time to be selfish. This is not the time to be superstitious. This is the time to be responsible human beings. We need to protect those who fall under the classification of the most vulnerable group. That would be our parents, our grandparents, and those who suffer from pre-existing conditions. Please follow provided guidelines and stay safe and take your health seriously. Educate yourself and others on the importance of vaccines.